nature has been taking care of us for as long as we've been walking on this earth. We have lost that connection to nature.
The variety that should be in the forest, we're losing. Every time you go out in the woods, you see the trees. The question becomes, are they healthy? And if not, what can we do to get them there?
We were a forest that hasn't experienced a lot of fire in the past because there was a active suppression of fires by the Forest Service for the past 100 years.
The initial direction from the Forest Service when it was first developed was fires should be excluded from the ecosystem.
In the 1930s, there was a move to take fire out of the ecosystem, out of the forest, totally.
At the time, they valued timber as a monetary value and saw fire as bad.
So fire was burning lumber, so they eliminated it.
So the forests before inaction of the U.S. Forest Service in northern New Mexico were unfortunately severely degraded.
I don't know if they ever thought of how hot fires would burn if we just let our forests grow and not take care of them correctly.
The western part of the nation is on fire. It gets more and more intense every year.
A lot of these wildfires are crown fires, which means they burn on the top of the trees.
A lot of the big fires that are occurring are because there's so much vegetation from the ground up and the crowns are not separated like they used to be. As trees begin to close in, the density has increased. The amount of water that the trees need increases.
Without water, we're lost.
Forest health is important because of one word, the water.
If we get ash in our water system, our water quality gets degraded.
We want fire to do what it's naturally designed to do in nature, and that's to clean the understory, to create growth, to open up the landscape.
I am for reintroducing fire to the public.
Wildfire has gotten a bad name for itself, and that's due to prescribed burns.
We're a community now that is fearful of fire and fearful of prescribed burning.
But Native Americans have been using cultural burns for a millennia. They used it to thin out their forests.
Fire is our friend, has no boundaries though.
If we're ever going to understand fire, we have to embrace it, nurture it, and even in some ways, we have to utilize it.
So the trade-offs for prescribed fire versus wildfire is light gray smoke in the spring and fall versus heavy thick smoke through the duration of the summer.
In a very short time, you generally will see an increase in growth. And you watch the branching and the needles look darker green. They just look healthy again.
It can be plentiful again as days in the beginning.
It's a collaboration, state, federal, government. Everybody has a role to play, and it shouldn't land on just one individual.
We want to work with our communities.
So as a public person, the things we can do is go online and see what type of things we need to do for our properties to make them fire-wise, to communicate with our local volunteer departments so that they know where you live at and what you have.
Forest health is important to not only us locally, but worldwide.
Whatever we are doing is better than doing nothing, because we know doing nothing is not going to work, it's not going to solve our problems, and it's actually going to make it worse. So we need to work together to find a path forward.
We all come here, we all love this area. Let's all take care of it.